team is going to experiment and have some success with it here tonight.
Well, I think the teams have practiced it. They just find it a little underwhelming. So you could be right. It might be a little bit of an experimentation of, well, we wanted to run her, but it was just not because of this, not because of that. Now that she does this, can we still run the same things we did? I do think, though, they're going to try with the old tried and true that they've been running the last couple days. So maybe Samana tonight. I would still be surprised if we see her.
Well, the other thing that we could see here tonight, which I think I would also be surprised to see just because I don't know if enough changed, but with McCree getting nerfed a little bit, I wonder if that opens the door just a bit for Farah to make a grand reappearance.
Maybe. Yeah, I don't know if he's been nerfed enough yet, but Farah on King, though, it could be a kind of a stage pick, though. Control Center, I've seen Farah's on there before.
Well, in either case, taking a look here at the team setting up here from the side of C9. It's going to be Sure4 here on the Genji, Debit on the Winston, Kai on Diva, Grego on the Lucio, Reaver on the Tracer, and Adam going to be on the Zenyatta. And they're not even running a McCree here, so they don't want to run McCree right after the nerf.
It's kind of been, Reaver's been on and off McCree, though, so it's not necessarily
It's not completely one-to-one the patch. Yeah, there was a moment yesterday where they didn't run a McCree.
Well, Too Easy dies on that McCree.
Yeah, C9 just rushes right in. They take out the McCree immediately. And as a result, they are already up here in King of the Hill, and they are well positioned to get first control of the point.
Yeah, 2 quick kills there, and now they're just going to spam out of this doorway. They're all going to back up, not trying to bleed any players out here, but that is going to be first cap in favor of Cloud9. Pretty easy for them, too. They got 2 kills. It's smart to pull out there and not feed any more into the ults, though.
Yeah, WeUnited did the right thing in just getting out here, but they're going right back in. They're back to full strength. Sure4, though, wins a Genji battle, takes out Shadowburn. 65 in favor of C9. Sure4 now moving in on the left flank. Gonna have to back up a little bit. Does catch Too Easy's attention for a little while.
They are even now, as Slasher was able to take down Debit. Of course, they are down their DPS. Here comes a huge Graviton from Zoms.
Oh, here comes Sure4 with the Dragon Blade, though. While the Graviton was going on, Sure4 goes to the backline, picks up 3, looking for Forsaken, gets 4, and that's big for Sure4. Pretty good play coming up from him, and I actually thought yesterday in the games we saw of C9, Sure4 wasn't quite coming out as explosively as we had usually seen, but that's definitely starting out the series with the bang.
Yeah, it's been tough for WeUnited because the first 2 fights, they've lost one of their main DPS each time. First time was Too Easy, second time was Shadowburn. It just puts you so far behind and trying to pull it back.
Well, the upside here for WeUnited, they are going to have Soundbearer up here in the next fight. Also will be on the table, and they're going to open up here. Soundbearer now on the way. Too Easy rushing in with the Lucio. Shadowburn going to the backline now with Dragon Blade, able to take out Kai, does not let him get back to the mech. 2 kills here for the side of WeUnited. They get 1 or 2 more, that's going to be it as Shadowburn slicing and dicing. That's going to be a triple kill. And just like that, WeUnited striking back. They get control of the point, but 68% or 67% to C9 to start out the game. Not a bad start in the least.
Debit might have just taken play of the game there in an inconsequential moment where he punched 2 people off the cliff. He's been actually really good on his Primal Rage of knocking people off the cliff on this stage in particular.
Oh, do you have a Diva ult going off here from C9? Zoning on the point. Sure4, though, goes down the Zoms. Very close between the 2 teams. Shadowburn still alive. Just going to be punishing off of this Graviton. Takes out Grego. Does damage to Diva in the backline. Going to get her out of her mech. And for now, WeUnited's going to hold, in no small part to the damage output here of Shadowburn.
He's been the highlight reel for him, that's for sure. Forsaken is on this Reaper. He has Death Blossom up. Shadowburn has his Dragon Blade at the ready as well. So there's a couple ults available for him. Not a whole lot in favor of Cloud9 to be able to push this in. They've got a Dragon Blade of their own and a Primal Rage. Nothing else queued up, though. Although they are going to have Soundberry momentarily. That might be their moment to push in.
Yep, Soundbearer will be up here for C9 and a Dragon Blade. Sure4 going to get that Soundbearer right away. Goes to the backline looking for Zenyatta. Will take out Slasher. Going for Lucio now, but no, the counter Dragon Blade is out from Shadowburn. Takes out Sure4 in the Genji fight. WeUnited going to be striking right back with 3 kills of their own. And a little bit of a brawl here on the point as Kai now fully charged up. Takes out 2 at the very end. About to take out Zoms. Kai putting the team on his back as the fight wraps up.
Yeah, this is something I was surprised we didn't see yesterday. Kai primarily played Diva yesterday, and I know they're trying it now because Diva got the buffs, but Kai is a phenomenal Zarya. Like, one of the best in all of Overwatch. He's very good at just tracking on his left beam. He nails those area of effect bombs. It's good to see him back on. He got some good work done there.
All right, well, Soundbearer coming out here from WeUnited. They're going right back onto the point. Zom's about to have another Graviton up as well, but Kai, his Graviton's already here. Gets 3 people in that. The Pulse Bomb comes out from Reaver. Takes out 2 with that right away. Too Easy and Slasher, though, still in this, still fighting back. And I'll note, by the way, Too Easy no longer on McCree.
Wow, that is interesting. He is on his own Tracer now.
Yeah, he has to stay on here, though. Everyone around him does go down, and Kai takes him out with a rifle butt to the face. You have Winston getting back to the point, trying to extend overtime here, but this is all sorts of rough. And if Forsaken dies, they're just not going to be able to stay on. But here comes Shadowburn at the last moment here with the Dragon Blade. Ends up getting off the point. Can't do that in this situation. Takes out Cheerfor, though. And will go down to Kai, who's really just cleaning up every member of WeUnited as they try and get back on the point.
Pretty close, though. That's a situation to keep the eye on, though. Does Too Easy start as McCree here? Did he move to Tracer because they were in desperation mode? Does he just not like how McCree feels right now post-patch? Again, that patch coming down 5 minutes beforehand. I could excuse it when it was Reaver, and we're not even going to have a full answer here because this is a map that a lot of teams run Tracers on anyway. So it's a storyline to watch throughout the night to see, is McCree going to be supplanted by someone else? I brought up the notion yesterday that we mentioned this was the McCree meta. It might be the Genji meta now, and especially with this patch coming in, it's definitely something to keep an eye on. So both these teams are going to run Tracers instead of McCree. Not, again, the biggest alarm just yet, as Control Center is where a lot of teams prefer to run Tracers anyway.
Well, the other thing, too, when it comes to McCree, I'm not going to respect anything the players do immediately the day after, because players tend to be pretty knee-jerky in response to things. But for now, no McCree is in play. As both teams once again getting into it, trading out Poke here on the outskirts of the Control Center. And even say WeUnited right now has a little bit of a positioning advantage. They have more people on the point. They're forcing C9 into the back alley. Cheerfor, though, able to turn it right back, takes out Slasher, and the back line now has Shadowburn in his sights. Gonna have to back out, though, as he dove in very, very deep. Gets the Harmony Orb, though, and will stay alive.
Yeah, no one helped Slasher there. He just got double teamed. He was trying to retreat back, got no help from his team, ended up going down. Zenyatta's fine 1v1. He can do a lot against certain heroes, but they put 2 on him right away to start off that fight. It is so back and forth right now.
It's an absolute brawl. The fight is taking place in all different parts of the map, in the middle, on the outskirts. But C9 will get the advantage of it in the end. They do get first control of the point. Too Easy, though, striking right back, takes out Cheerfor. Debit got knocked off. And WeUnited's going to be coming right back in here in a hurry, as we have Tracer Bell here on the outskirts. Too Easy versus Reaver. And WeUnited, they do enough to push C9 off the point.
Yeah, the Dragon Blade came out, bullied them back. They did have to pop a Transcendence to avoid that as well. Shadowburn takes down Reaver in the end after a missed Pulse Bomb from said Reaver. No, that was Too Easy miss.
That's when Surge comes in. They don't get a whole lot from it, though. C9 able to weather the storm. Dragon Blade comes out from Cheerfor. He has to back up for a moment. Still looking for slices. Has Shadowburn in sights. Takes him out with 3 well-placed left clicks. Moves right in. Takes out Reels. And the counter graviton from C9 absolutely on point. They get 4 kills from that. They're going to retake this.
Yeah, completely cleaning that up. So it is already, well, it'll be tied up by the time the next fight comes in, too. Not a whole lot of ults on the board for either side. Slasher might even choose to initiate with this. Transcendence is generally thought of as a reactive ultimate, but you can use it offensively. Here it is.
Tranquility.
That's exactly what they do. Slasher goes right into the back line, letting the offense push very deep in. Forsaken takes advantage of that. Did get on the Kai in the very beginning. Shadowburn now has Dragon Blade at the ready. Moves up over the top. Might not even need to use it here, though. C9 did poke back quite a bit.
Well, Too Easy's having a really nice game on his Tracer so far. He missed a Pulse Bomb earlier, but that's really been the only flaw in his game. He just did a ton of damage there. Good on the cleanup as well. So he's definitely had the better Tracer between him and Reaver in the last 60 seconds or so, at the very least.
Alright, so here comes Shadowburn now. Dragon Blade at the ready, moving for Zarya. Gonna take out Kai. Moves back, just slaughtering the tanks of all things right now. Does look for Cheerfor, not able to get him just yet. Goes down, in fact, in the end, but not before Too Easy gets 2 kills in support. And again, this has been very back and forth between these two teams, but right now, WeUnited is holding control of the point. Too Easy has Reaver on the run. Reaver has to back out, get the Zarya shield. And for now, this is looking pretty good for WeUnited. They win 1 or 2 more fights, and they should have this. Pulse Bomb goes off for Too Easy a little bit early, though. Not able to combo with the Graviton Surge. And here comes Cheerfor with the Dragon Blade. Again, looking for Too Easy. Too Easy not getting away. Does reset his dash. Cheerfor, though, has to put the Dragon Blade away, and it's not enough. Dragon Blade for just 1 Tracer, not quite what you're looking for.
They almost overextended there when it was too easy and Zombs poking forward in that battle with Reaver that they were unable to clean up. Luckily, Zombs had his Graviton up, used it kind of panic and defensively. The rest of the team got there. They didn't get a ton of kills off it, but it kept both him and Too Easy alive long enough for the rest of the team to reinforce.
Well, here comes a Graviton from Kai. 3 people sucked into this. Will there be follow-up? There is. Reaver gets right in with the Pulse Bomb, takes out 2 immediately. And C9 here in overtime going to retake control of the point, but WeUnited is in a good position here, X. We're going to have about 3 good pushes to come back in here and retake control. If they do retake control, they will take the round.
They should do what they did in the last fight. Just come in with Slasher on his Zoom Yata, getting in there very quickly, causing all sorts of chaos. They might want to wait for Shadowburn to hit another volley of shurikens here, as he's almost got his Dragon Blade up too, which combos really well with the new Transcendence ultimate.
Take a look at Shadowburn. He's just about 1 or 2 more attacks away from getting Dragon Blade up.
Wait for it. They're pushing.
C9, they did not want to give them the time, but Zombs takes out Debit right away. Debit perhaps over pushing a little bit. They're going to be down to Winston. Kai, though, gets on the Zombs. Grego with the fall through, so C9's aggression paying off, and they take away a push from WeUnited. Yep. And for WeUnited, they only have about 1 push left now.
Yeah, I think they kind of just sensed the hesitation there. Like, why is only Shadowburn in here trying to get volleys on us? Because he was really the only one even up there poking. Yep. So they sensed blood in the water, went after it, and now we're down to the last fight.
Well, this fight is going to decide. Shadowburn right now going to back with Dragon Blade. Sheerforce still holding it in reserve. Doesn't matter, though. 3 quick kills coming out from WeUnited. Unless Shadowburn is a hero bringing this back, that might be it. Shadowburn does get 1 kill, but it's going to stop there. WeUnited with the numbers advantage on the point. Now we're in overtime, but enough died here where they might be able to stall this out in overtime and give some time for C9 members to get back on the point.
It's not over,
be difficult,
for sure. It's going to be 3v3 here for a moment at the very least. Forsaken does finally stop his ult. Zombs cleans up Grego really quick. Still 3v3. Here comes the late Graviton. That should seal it.
Yeah, that Graviton absolutely huge. Slasher had the fall through on it. And now C9, they're still getting onto the point a little bit. Actually, X, there's a problem. Overtime, if they can delay this for a little bit longer, overtime's just going to end, and it's going to be in favor of C9. Yeah. That's what they're going for. There is a raw timer to overtime.
Yeah, but now they flipped it back over, so the same situation now applies towards Cloud9. They need to get to the point. And Wick is burning so fast.
The game wants overtime to end here one way or another. C9, though, gets right back on it. Still at a numbers disadvantage here. Kai under pressure, going to get taken out by that Too Easy bomb. Oh my goodness, this is the longest overtime we have seen since this patch.
Yeah, definitely since the new patch, because that Wick burns super quick. It does finally end, but that was intense to say the least. 1-1 on Lijiang. Now we're down to a best of 3 on this map. Who is this WeUnited team? Where do they come from? Out of nowhere, we're like bringing it to the top teams. Like, I expected them to do well in the Gosu weeklies this week because it wasn't against teams like Luminosity, against Cloud9. I mean, if you're just tuning in for this night and missed last night, this WeUnited team beat Luminosity last night.
WeUnited is for real. There's no doubt about it. I mean, they were, as you mentioned, they took out Luminosity. They had a great showing in the weeklies over the weekend. They've been leveling up their play at an absolutely phenomenal pace, and it's one of those things where they always had the mechanical play to do so. Yeah. It's just they didn't have the team cohesion and chemistry, but they've kept it together, and it's been working out really well for them, as evidenced by the fact that they're now 1-1 versus C9 on Lijiang.
I mean, don't tell him I said this. Hopefully he's not watching. It might be Slasher, just because everything they've won has been with him on the team, and like as a shot caller, he's definitely put it together.
Yep, well, Shadowburn does go a little bit too far in here, is punished by Kai. Reaver going to fall through on the Zombs. McCree back here on the game. 4 kills here for C9. That's going to be a very clean capture for them. And yeah, I mean, the thing about Slasher, I've played with him. He has very good game knowledge, and he has very good calls, so that might be the difference maker for him being a part of this WeUnited team.
Yeah, but I mean, it does not stop Cloud9 from taking that first capture there. So both McCrees are still here. McCree is back in the meta for this stage at the very least. It's going to be hard to aggress, but they are going to come over the top. Forsaken is try to get some space in here.
Sheerfor does take out 2 people to start this out. Goes down the Shadowburn, but Shadowburn might be too little too late. He is one of 2 people remaining. It's just him and Lucio for WeUnited. They're just going to have to back out. There's nothing they can do there. Time-wise, still plenty of time here for WeUnited, but they definitely want to do something in the next push or 2 and not get themselves in a huge hole.
Right, so it is actually Shadowburn with the initiation, which is weird. He dies immediately. Here comes the Graviton.
Graviton does come out here from C9, mops
ugly.
up everyone, sets up Greg on Adam to just feast off that. So, gonna be a good hold once again here from C9. Graviton will have been used, but you look at the next fight, they're still gonna have Dragon Blade, they're still gonna have Transcendence. Shadowburn's still holding out to a Dragon Blade of his own, but Shadowburn, he is known as one of the more aggro Genjis, and at that last fight, he just got burned.
Yeah, they're gonna try the bright side now. They have to.
Well, a little bit of poke coming out. Doesn't need the poke to charge Dragon Blade. Winston leads the way. Here comes the Dragon Blade from Shadowburn in the back, or Surefour in the back line, gets 2 kills right away. Down goes Too Easy, down goes Reels. Surefour on a 4K. And certainly Surefour getting a little bit more value off his Dragon Blade than Shadowburn did, to say the least.
One is an authentic samurai sword, the other was from Home Shopping Network. A little bit different quality.
Terrible.
It's been really short for a show right now. He's been crushing the opposing Genji, the opposing team overall. Here comes an initiation now from the Sound Barrier.
Yep, Sound Barrier is out. WeUnited throwing the remainder of their cards here on the table. Too Easy, though, comes down the debit in the back line. They're already down the McCree. 2 kills here from C9. Shadowburn all on him right now to have the miracle. But no, they don't even get on the point. They keep it in overtime. And as a result, C9 now up 2 rounds to 1. Pretty good position to be in here, but WeUnited still not a team you take lightly.
It's not super surprising given that stage. I think it's their worst stage on Lijiang. This being their second best, it's right in the middle. I think they're really good at Control Center as far as WeUnited goes. I think if you had to rank them as far as stages in Lijiang, they would probably rank them the same way. They always struggled on that Garden stage, losing it to several different teams here and there. So not a ton of surprises coming out there because just how I think they play. Now this is right in the middle. They're going to have to bring it back here on this map. They lost this stage already tonight. Back against the wall to not drop this first map versus Cloud9.
Well, interesting switch-ups coming out here again. We see Too Easy still not on the McCree, but Reaver back on the McCree. So Reaver's saying, you know what, I'm not getting enough Nose Tracer, I'm going to go McCree. We'll see if we have a little bit more luck with it. Teams, again, might be overreacting a little bit to the McCree changes, but we'll have to see. Still, though, takes out Zenyatta from a pretty long range there, so still pretty darn good at 3-shotting people.
It's still a very strong hero. I mean, 10 meters is significant, but it's not game-breaking.
All right, Surefour getting in there, takes out for a second. 2 kills here from C9, make it 3 kills. They're going to clean up the remainder of the WeUnited squad here on the point. And sort of similar to the last time we saw this map just a little bit ago in the set.
Yeah, it looks pretty much very similar to what we saw, just kind of the sides have been flipped here, just geographically from the map edges, but it's definitely Cloud9 winning these first fights again. Reaver does have that Deadeye up, and we'll see what they can get here as far as initiation goes. They didn't hold at the door, so the courtyard is going to be a brawl.
C9 once again being really aggro with the once in play, and it works out. They take out Slash immediately. Shadowburn comes out the Dragon Blade. Surefour is out with his Dragon Blade, and Surefour again just getting way more done. Gets the double kill, makes it a triple kill, gets to the back line, and is going to push Forsaken all the way back. So I'd say right now, if there was a big difference between C9 and WeUnited, Surefour has been more effective on his Genji here thus far. There's just no doubt about it.
Yeah, that is a completely fair point, and when you're only running kind of 2 DPSs in this meta, when one of your DPSs is just straight up outplaying the other one on a mirror character, you're in trouble.
Too Easy still on the Tracer. Zom's able to take out Reaver on the fight, so they have a 65 advantage here. See if they can push it back, but Surefour once again gets onto the backline, takes out Slasher. Surefour has been an absolute pest, getting to the back, doing all these sorts of things. Will go down the Shadowburn finally, as WeUnited does get 3 kills. They're starting to turn the point back in their favor. Very close fights here that sort of just all get settled at the last moment.
They are going to finally flip this one around, as Shadowburn did have probably his best fight there so far on this stage, able to clean up the opposing Zenyatta early on, get the numbers back in their advantage. He will have Dragon Blade, but for all the talk of Shadowburn over the last couple days, I think, you know, people may have forgotten that Surefour has always been a really good Genji.
All right, well, here comes the Dragon Blade Graviton combo. Shadowburn absolutely cleaning up, gets the 3 people that are in it, takes out Surefour, who is crouching over to the side. So big play there, mostly ganks up by Zoms, but the cleanup by Shadowburn was there. And that's going to be WeUnited retaking control at this point.
Oh, that's the Genji we've seen him bust out the last several days. It's never only 1 kill from Shadowburn. It's 2 to 4 pretty much every time he busts out the Dragon Blade. Sometimes doesn't even need the Dragon Blade.
Hex, look at C9. This could be an anything you can do, I can do better moment. They're going to be going for a Graviton Dragon Blade of their own in just a moment. Kai looking for his opportunity, just melting down Shadowburn with the aid of Winston. Shadowburn somehow lives and got out of there. He's down to about 5 HP. Sunbear, though, comes out here from the side of United. They're going to be more aggressive in turn. Kai might just have to hold this combo. Sherford tried to go for the Dragon Blade in the back, got absolutely nothing.
Yeah, he got 1 kill, not what he was hoping for, though, at all.
So C9's still in and around in this fight. They have been getting muscled around a little bit. WeUnited is back to full strength. They're coming back on the point. Shadowburn, though, a little bit out of position, ends up getting taken out in turn. Soundbearer comes out here from C9, and Kai absolutely could use Graviton to finish up this fight, but the way it's going, might not even need to.
They were very spread out in that fight for WeUnited. There was only 2 on the point kind of hanging out. Everyone else was just dancing around in different sections, and then Cloud9 saw that, took advantage of it, rushed those 2, got the kills on the point, that when the reinforcements came in, they cleaned up those reinforcements as well. So they're going to flip this back over. It's going to be pretty much tied up again when the next fight happens, and it might be the last fight of the stage.
Very well could be, given where the percentages are. In fact, I will say it will be the last fight of the stage, but take a look at Zoms, take a look at Shadowburn. Dragon Blade into Graviton is going to be up for both teams, so here comes Graviton from Zoms. Here comes Graviton from C9. Everyone pulling out the Dragon Blade in turn. Too easy, though, gets 2 kills to start this out. WeUnited coming in a little bit better off of that exchange. Shadowburn gets down Kai, and that's going to be it. WeUnited is going to even this up 2-2.
Yeah, Short 4 is still alive.
They should.
Yeah, he can maybe delay install on the point, but God, the percentage goes so fast. Cannot underestimate how fast this clock moves. They are on
They're going to have to force overtime here. Adam getting caught out by Shadowburn. Shadowburn looking for that pick. Will take him out to start the fight. And this is just awkward for C9 because they have to rush down the point. Sherford, though, still alive, and they're making it happen despite having to rush on Helter Skeleton. Oh my goodness, too easy with the Pulse Bomb. Gets 2 right away. Samir comes out a little bit late here from Grego. Will buy C9 some time here as they try and take this back. Reroad Pulse Bomb of his own, and
yeah, they're going to flip this back over. That might be it in this direction now. It's going to be really hard to get back on this point. They are rushing over here. Shadowburn does have an option to get in here. He does get in last second.
Yep, Shadowburn gets in, but gonna get taken out immediately by Winston, and
yeah, they
that's a bit unfortunate for WeUnited. That way they're set up here, they really had a big opportunity to close it out. I really thought they would, and they, even with the early pick, they still let C9 bring it right back in against them. So too easy. One last hopes here on top of the point. A lot of heroics to be done for one Tracer. Show 4 having none of it, takes him right out the Swift Strike, and C9 in the end going to pull it right back. Very close here on game.
Yeah, I tended to agree with you. I thought that was going to be over, too. It ended up being very close. Short 4 in at the last second, able to stall it out, and then just kind of, they won their duels, clutched it out a little bit. I thought once that Pulse Bomb came off, that was going to be it, but Reaver with some Tracer heroics brought it back for them. They're going to take first map in Lijiang Tower. Oh, it doesn't get much easier than that.
Yeah, it's one of those things where even though it's giving play of the game to Shadowburn, you have to give the real, true play of the game to Zoms, because Zoms is the one who set up, Zoms is the one that had to read Cloud9 and actually find the right opportunity to get that Graviton Surge where it needed to be.
Yeah, I think it's a really smart composition change from Kai too. As I said, yesterday he was playing a lot of D.Va, knowing that the main problem that you're going to have to solve on the other team can reflect bullets, going to Zarya there to deal with Shadowburn, which he did on several different occasions, so I thought was really smart too. And like I said, it's just phenomenal to see him on Zarya. He's a great one. Him and Zoms are probably top tier Zaryas in this game, so we do have a drop. Someone in the lobby had to go.
All right, they said they need 5 minutes. Let's see, Kai's here, Adam's here, Debit, Grego, Share 4. It's Reaver. Reaver has to restart. Of course, that was also said in chat. I had to do it the hard way by looking at what player was missing.
The next map will be King's Row, so when Reaver returns, we will head to King's. What else is in this pool? Dorado, Nepal, and Hollywood also remaining, but that was pretty close, and as it was, we mentioned before, this WeUnited team continues to impress. I'm hoping that they get picked up by some organization at some point in time, because saying WeUnited is really throwing off my, just how I speak.
Yeah, saying WeUnited, it's like you keep wanting to say reunited with an R, right, the strong R, but you have to keep saying W because, for those who don't know, of course, one of the players on WeUnited is Too Easy. He used to be a player on Reunited, and he sort of says, well, look, I'm not going to be on Reunited anymore. I'm going to make a parody of the Reunited name and be WeUnited, but now we just, you know, we're all in baby talk now.
It is very difficult. So we saw a little less McCree there. I don't think Lijiang is the stage where you can really define if he's in or out based on this patch. And also, as you mentioned, a lot of the top level players and pro players especially will completely overreact to patches. And as soon as they say like, oh, it would decrease by, 0.01%, literally unplayable, and they won't play him. And then, a couple days go by, they're like, oh, this feels exactly the same. He's fine. So we'll see what the patch actually ends up meaning for tonight's play. But we did see more Tracer than usual at the very least. But again, Reaver's been running Tracer a little bit here and there anyway. Lijiang on Control Center, a lot of teams like to just run Tracer overall. So not the highest indication just yet if McCree is... I don't think that patch should take him out of the meta.
The most thing I'd say for McCree is that even though the damage is clearly a little bit lower from the longer ranges, there was a point in the last game where Slasher got 3-shot by Reaver from a pretty far way away. So I think if we do see any differences here, it's going to be more knee-jerk than actual necessary changes, I would say.
That's fair. So while we're waiting here, what do we have on the schedule after this? Do you know offhand?
Well, we're just going to be following the upper bracket all the way, so it'll be the winner of this against the winner of Envious versus Fnatic, where if you go by power rankings and by how teams have been playing as of late, you would sort of expect that the winner of this would be up against Envy. And C9 right now, they're leading the series, so we could be well heading into Cloud9 versus Envy once more, which is some matchup, of course, that we've seen time and time again in the last few months of Overwatch.
Yeah, battle for the ages. Okay, so in our lower bracket, we have Oh No, who surprised a lot of people last night by playing they didn't win games, but they played really close against top-level teams versus CLG, otherwise known as CLG. So they're playing in the lower bracket. Right now, Selfless has a bye. They're already waiting for their next opponent as Luminosity Gaming had to pull out of the tournament. Unfortunately, no LG tonight.
Yep, that's unfortunate. LG... does seem like they have a little bit of trouble adjusting the patch. I didn't think they played badly at all, really. I mean, they did fall to WeUnited, but that was as much of WeUnited playing well as it was maybe LG playing a little bit under the norm. I thought LG actually had a really good chance of coming back and fighting through the lower bracket, getting back to the grand finals, but I guess they had a few issues that came up. I'm not exactly sure, but they wouldn't do it without good reason. So it's unfortunate. It does happen in esports. Actually, TSM was supposed to be in here originally as well, and then they had an emergency. So just esports related things that happens.
Just esports stuff. Yeah, I think it was a minor upset. I'll say that WeUnited beating Luminosity is a minor upset, but I think people who maybe weren't as familiar with WeUnited as we've had the privilege to be familiar with probably thought it was a major upset. Like, who is this team? They don't even have a real icon or a real team name, and like I haven't seen them play before because they haven't been in this tournament or that tournament. But WeUnited, it's a minor upset to beat Luminosity Gaming. I was a little surprised that they did it in the fashion in which they did, but I mean, you're looking at them play right now. They're playing Cloud9 close. They're legit. I think I feel comfortable saying this is a legitimate team.
Well, right now I feel comfortable in saying as well as that I'm pretty sure Reaver does not have a solid state drive. This is a very long restart. That is all I'm saying right now. But
should get one of those new Alienware PCs. I'm sure they come with solid state drives.
Oh, they do come with solid state drives. They are phenomenal PCs. The advertisements tell you everything. And see that right there, ladies and gentlemen, that's some organic selling out. It's an art form.
All right, so yeah.
Please.
Yeah, that's kind of where we're both just going to fill time momentarily. We always kick it off with, all right, so. Obviously, the overall favorite for this tournament, favorite for any tournament they enter, is going to be Envy. So I'm kind of wondering where their match is at right now. I think Fnatic is one of the... I said it yesterday. I think Fnatic is a team that has one of the best chances of upsetting Envy. They're players who are very familiar with each other. Some of them have been on the same rosters with each other. Both, Cool Matt and Tailspin were on the North American roster Hubris way back in the day. IDDQD, who's on the Fnatic roster, has played with the team. IDDQD, one terrifying week for if you were a caster. So they're all very familiar with each other. They all have played each other several times before. So I think Fnatic, of all the teams, probably knows Envy the best, might have the best chance at taking them off of their very high pedestal right now.
Yeah, that's what we've heard. Just talking with people on Fnatic, of course, I go way back with Cool Matt. We talk all the time, and I know even early as Nubris was sort of saying, hey, look, we do have really good scrim results against these teams that we haven't been able to put together in matches, but I assure you, we're closer than you might think. So Fnatic versus Envy, that's the thing where you'd expect Envy to win, but if it turns out that there's an upset and Fnatic actually beats them, I will be surprised, but I won't be completely surprised.
All right, so Reaver is back in here. Kai was apparently watching stream and just heard. He's like, no, Reaver indeed does not have an SSD. And then, you know, the lobby chat went a little crazy, like no SSD in 2016.
Oh my goodness.
Reaver is back in here though.
I've had an SSD, I just didn't have Overwatch loaded on it up until the point where loading quickly was imperative to get the hero you want in competitive play. That was the deal breaker for me. I was like, all right, I need to put this game on my SSD.
Yeah, did you see what I was talking about yesterday? I'm like, I've never had that problem because it's just, I always am the first one in there. It's never an issue. All right, so they're ready. We're ready. We're going to King's Row. Let's do this. Overtalk is over.
Yep, King's Row, one of the tried and true maps of Overwatch. There have been points in the meta where you play King's Row as the first map in every series for the course of an entire day. Hollywood actually taking that role more often than not now, but anytime you get to best of fives or larger, I do feel like you get a little bit more map variety and you aren't quite locked into those two maps.
Yeah, for sure. You know, on offense, it's going to be Cloud9 first. I think it's going to be more interesting what you see on defense. They've been running untraditional defenses in the last few days that I've seen them. One of the few teams that will still run a Symmetra and with great success. However, the defense coming out first is going to be WeUnited. Too Easy is on McCree. Shadowburn will play his DPS partner in Genji. Slasher, of course, on Zenyatta. Zoms is going to play the Zarya. Reels, it's going to be on the Lucio. And Forsaken on his Reinhardt.
So nothing really changing here. No teams delving into exploring Ana right now, despite the recent buff. Take a look here at the C9 offense as they set up. It is going to be Debit on the Winston, Adam on Zenyatta, Reaver on the McCree, Surefour on the Genji, Kai, despite what he's trying to show you, very likely not to be on Widowmaker. So we'll hold on that for a moment. But Grego will be on the Lucio. And for Kai, probably would expect him to come out on Zarya.
It would make sense. Zarya or D.Va, I could see one or the other here. They are going to run two tanks for certain. There's no way they're going to put it all on Debit because with the Zenyatta in the meta right now, he'll just get absolutely melted, even more so than Winston's already get focused on. So he might be on this momentarily trying to get a quick pick, but he'll switch to one of the off tanks. Yeah,
Migos D.Va. All right, so C9 right now, moving out, and this is where especially when you do run D.Va on the offense, we've seen offenses really get the advantage here on first points on maps like King's Row, on maps like Hollywood. Kai right now, not wasting any time, goes right into backline, looks for Too Easy. Forsaken taking out Adam, but not before Reaver and Debit get what they're looking for in the backline. 4 members of WeUnited already down here. This is going to be it. It's going to be, again, another quick first point offense on King's Row, and at this point it hardly even feels team specific, especially running D.Va, running Zen, being really hyper aggro. Teams have just been better at taking point A on the first push.
Yeah, the only team that's put up like really decent defenses consistently, and it was only because yesterday they put up defenses in back-to-back maps, has been Cloud9. And I've always been a huge proponent that defense will win you games, especially in Overwatch. The teams that can defend the best are the teams that are able to win maps, because almost everyone can put up a decent offense given the right circumstances here. So we'll see what they do on their defensive side, but yeah, that first row defense has been tough for teams across the board.
On the upside here from C9, of course, is that they're about to have a whole lot of ultimates in their favor. Deadeye coming up here from Reaver, Dragonblade coming up from Surefour, and he's unsheathing that blade immediately. Already takes down Slasher, looking for more. Gonna eat a Earth Shatter pretty late into this fight, but I don't know if Forsaken should have dropped that there. I mean, they do get 2 kills off that, but C9's still keeping 3 people on the cart the entire time. Here comes Too Easy, though. Does pick off Debit towards the end. Moving forward.
Well, the 2 kills towards the end make it look like it was worth it, but at the moment, it was very questionable as to whether that Sound Barrier should have come off, or rather, Earth Shatter should have come off or not. They are going to pull it back, though, so it looks, in retrospect, like it was the right decision.
I know, though. Surefour getting right back into the fight. Takes out Too Easy. Too Easy was a little bit overextended. Soundbarrier coming out here from the other. That's going to let them push all the way forward in. I think a final post-mortem of that Earth Shatter probably not his worth.
I mean, the tragic part is Zoms was still in there now, and I mean, that Graviton was definitely not worth it. He was a panic one at the end, so he's not going to have Graviton. And we've talked about how important those tank ultimates are. Now, Forsaken's he's going to get away with because he switched on to Winston, so it's like, fine, he was going to switch. Zoms, though, that Graviton was a complete non-factor.
Look at C9 right now, everyone piling in on the card. I expect a few people to come in on the flank in just a moment, particularly Surefour. All ults available to C9 right now with the exception of Sound Barrier. They're going to have to go into a defensive Sound Barrier, and the defense, Ergo moving in. They know that there's no Sound Barrier to meet them. Shadowburn looking for Surefour. Surefour was just hiding there, hoping not to be seen. Does get picked out. Offense though responds to that well. They backed out from the Sound Bear, and now they're turning back on their own. Both Genji's gonna fall as they dive the back line. Oh my goodness, the bomb from Kai takes out 3 right in the back line. And Hex, just like that, C9 has gotten what they need to get. Can't believe he got 3 people off that bomb.
I mean, every time D.Va nails one of those, I'm still a little surprised by it. But yeah, if you look at the geography of this last point, where are you going to hide? It's hard if it comes over the top like it did.
Rainblade comes out here from Shadowburn, goes into the backline, takes out 2. Defense now trying to restabilize. Slasher, of course, with the Transcendence, giving them all sorts of health regeneration at the point. But Reaver fighting right back, takes out Shadowburn.
Yeah, they will.
The offense is going to back out a bit up until the point where reinforcements come in. If the defense is still up, they're going to get punished for overextending.
Yeah, they do back out though. That has been their bread and butter. Not only Shadowburn, but using it with the Transcendence. It's kind of like just the same combo as using it with Sound Barrier to the same extent. But now with the increased mobility and Transcendence, you're able to actually follow your Genji and keep him alive.
Well, C9 right now, for the most part, just deciding to go up the gut. Nothing too crazy. Reaver takes out Shadowburn, some very well placed shots. Gets countered, though, by 2easy. So McCree and McCree violence. They trade out a DPS. And here comes the D.Va ult here once more. Takes out Slasher.
I mean, when you're Zen, you're pretty slow. There's not a whole lot you can do about that, especially if you're not running a couple of different tank heroes, or shield tanks, rather.
Well, both teams are breaking it down, but Cheerful has a Dragon Blade to back it up, takes out his counterpart, and Shadowburn moves for it, has the double kill. And C9 now definitely with more momentum on this point. The defense, all they can do is try and stall out for a little bit. It hasn't been the worst defense overall, but it's still going to be a pretty fast-ish time coming out from C9.
427, 426.
Yeah.
Switching score.
Admin's in here. There we go. There's Heat. It's early in the night, so I feel like I could do math right now.
Actually, take it back. It felt like it wasn't, or it was longer than it was. 427. That's the defense is not really happy with that. That was a good attack by C9, and it's going to be rough now for WeUnited to come back and actually beat that time.
Yeah, there were moments where they were slowed down, but never really stalled out. I think they had to back out a couple times. One to avoid a sound barrier initiation, which is just super smart. Like if the defense is going to sound barrier, then just back away, just take 5 steps back, and it's really helpful. Then a couple times where they lost a few early in the fight and just didn't want to go in half cocked and then throw away their advantage. So yeah, pretty much non-stop aggression, non-stop winning fights for Cloud9. And this is what I was talking about on the defense. I'm super excited to see it, but I will leave you the honor of reading off these heroes.
Alrighty, well, taking a look here at the defense coming out here from the side of WeUnited, or sorry, from the side of Cloud9, it's going to be Kai here on the Symmetra, Debit on the Reinhardt, Adam on the Zenyatta, Reaver going to be on the Junkrat, Sheer4 on McCree, and Grego on the Lucio. So C9, one of the few teams right now that still wants to keep using Symmetra, and for them, the last time we saw it, it worked out really well.
What's super surprising is that it's Symmetra on King's Row. Now, she's had made appearances on Hollywood before. She's made appearances, not in recent history, on Numbani, and Dorado in particular has probably been her best map as of late. But we haven't seen Symmetra on King's Row in a very long time, and Kai's going to have to get a lot of work done. He's done it before, though. Now, to stop this Symmetra defense here, it's going to be Shadowburn on his Genji. 2easy will play McCree Slasher on his Zenyatta. Zombs will play Zarya, Rios will play Lucio, and Forsaken will flex onto the D.Va off tank.
Alright, so timer is started, is only 427, and the goal here for WeUnited, they need to take this on the first push as well. If they get stalled out at all, that is going to be it. And C9, they proved that they were pretty good on first point defenses relative to where most other teams are here in the meta. We will see if WeUnited can push through this here in just a moment.
Shadowburn hits his perfect rollout again. His Genji rollout on King's Row is always the same, and it's always impressive.
Yep, Shadowburn is causing havoc in the backline, still at full HP. Runs into the turrets, though, gets taken out by Kai. The turret's giving him a little bit of trouble there. As C9 picks up the first 2 kills, they will be holding off this first offensive attack. And look at Cheerful now on the McCree, on the high ground, looking for Slasher in the back, not able to finish out the kill. Routon already out from Zombs. It's a super quick Routon surge. Takes out 2. The offense, they're not done yet. They did get bloodied, but they got the kills they needed to get. 2easy coming in for the cleanup. And that's going to be it. C9 will lose his first point, but they certainly bought more time than WeUnited did.
Yeah, a little bit more time. I mean, one of the underrated things about Symmetra, and it didn't necessarily work out for them there. Well, it didn't work out for them at all there, actually, but is that her primary can't be deflected. And so when you have someone that you know is going to run Genji like 100% of the time, then running Symmetra is not the most terrible decision. He's also going to switch on to Zarya, who also cannot have her beams deflected. So they're clearly prepared for this composition that's been coming out for WeUnited, and they've done good work against Shadowburn so far, really only letting him go off once or twice in this set.
We take a look at the offense right now. Shadowburn is on the flank, everyone else on the cart. And Shadowburn just going to go right to the backline, does have Dragon Blade already, baits out the flashbang. Pretty aggressive, but here comes Soundbearer from both sides. Shadowburn going right into the backline for the aid of that. Gonna be running into Adam's Transcendence, so not gonna get anything from it as a result. And here comes the Earth Shatter from Demet, knocks down 3. Here comes C9 on the defense. They take out Zombs. They get 1 or 2 more, it's all they'll need. Slasher coming out the offensive Transcendence. Forsaken charging right back and forth here on the point, but slowly but surely, WeUnited is getting blood here.
Yeah, it's too easy cleaning up right now, but they do have to win this fight on the card for the most part. I don't think they can afford to lose this and try to take this walk all the way back. It is a long walk from spawn to second point.
That was pure heroics coming out from 2easy towards the end of that, because C9 had the numbers advantage. They had the sort of tempo advantage in the fight, but 2easy in the back landed the shots he needed to get, got the double kill, and set up WeUnited to keep things moving. And time-wise, Hex, they still have a shot here. They have about 2 minutes remaining here in the map.
Yeah, a little under 2 minutes. I really do believe if they lost that fight, that would have been it, though, because it's so hard to just... It would have taken them 40 seconds to get back to that cart for the next fight.
So taking a look here at the teams as they set up. You take a look here at WeUnited. Everyone in the car 2easy zoning out right now with the Deadeye. And oh my goodness, C9, they did not watch their positioning. That's a 3K from 2easy, exploding on that. Got all the skulls he needed and more. 5 kills coming out from WeUnited. It's gonna be a full team wipe. And now, Hex, this is the danger zone for Cloud9. They're gonna be able to get out in time to delay a little bit, but the positioning is going to be terrible.
Zombs has his
Zombs ready for the Graviton. Graviton's gonna come out. Will they be able to touch the cart? So counter Graviton though coming out here. Reaver gets into the backline with the Death Blossom, takes out 3, and C9 is going to do it. They will hold out there. That was WeUnited's chance to end the game, Hex.
I think it was a really big mistake to use both of those on the left side door. You had Earthshatter to deal with the left. You had Graviton. You could have popped it on the right. They used them both on the left-hand side, only got 3 over there and caused all their attention to the left. And then they got flanked on the right-hand side. They let them out on that side where they didn't have to. You had 2 shutdown alts over there, and they used them both on the left.
And so Surefour right now leading the way in the defense. Kai deep in the back line. Gonna be 2 kills here from C9. Already down 2 players is WeUnited. They blow the Transcendence pretty early here. They know that time-wise they have to go in. It doesn't matter that they're down players. They have to hope for the miracle. Too easy though not to fight. Zomb's not even near anyone to do damage. Everyone's split up here for WeUnited, and as a result, Cloud9 is just going to pick them off one by one.
That's gonna be
and you look at the time that's remaining here, Hex. 14 seconds remaining. This is going to be a Cloud9 hold. They're going to be up 2-0 now over WeUnited.
You know, there was twice on King's Row here where we questioned the tank ultimates, and it was during the defense of the first on second stage. And then I think they had everything they needed to close that out, and using both the Earthshatter and the Graviton on the left-hand side in weird positions, I think cost them that map, because had you put that on the right spawn doors, they're not even able to get out in time to get the Graviton onto your carts and use it with the Death Blossom. It was the only 2 ults they had up on defense, was Graviton, Death Blossom.
Well,
so if you lock them in spawn, they can't even come out, and you're able to close that map out right there.
Well, even though it was a good comeback from C9 to actually fight out of that, there's 2 words that you can use to describe what WeUnited did. Take your pick for which one. You can either say that they threw the match, or you could say that they choked. Either one is appropriate. I think they were really pumped up over getting that last team fight. I think they really thought they had the match. And as a result, I don't think they played that fight anywhere near as well as they should have, and it cost them the game.
Yep, I definitely agree, man. Yeah, choose your word. I blundered. How's that?
Blundered is also a perfectly fine word for that.
They had that. I think they're going to be kicking themselves on that because they had all the tools they needed to lock them down. That's what the tank ultimates are supposed to do, right? If you have tank ultimates up in the last 20 meters of a push, you're in great condition, because if they try to come out, they create space, they lock you down. Primal Rages are good for like the last door on Gibraltar, things like that. Earthshatter left, Graviton right, no one's getting out there, no one's going to be able to contest or stall out the cart. They didn't do it, and they lost that map because of it.
All right, so we're just waiting here for the next map choice from WeUnited. They're going to have to pull the reverse sweep here if they want to stay in the upper bracket and increase their odds to go up against the winner of Fnatic v Envious. And speaking of, we should get an update on what is going on in that series, if Fnatic has been able to take a map or not.
Yeah, it wouldn't super surprise me. I just don't want to bother them when they're in game.
Oh no, you never want to message the players while they're in game. That is not a good thing to do. I avoid it at all costs. So there's every now and then a caster needs to get in the game midway through, but I usually try and go for a player that's a really good friend that might not get offended and be like, look, man, I'm trying to play.
Right. But it's also a way to ruin friendships, so careful there.
It's just like, look, I used to like this guy until he just kept bugging me in the middle of games.
Stalking my games. So it is going to be up to WeUnited to choose the next map. They are definitely deliberating on it as our admin just keeps reminding them of the maps, and Forsaken says, we need a minute. Yeah, because this is a team that takes their map strategy extremely seriously. So Dorado, Hollywood, or Nepal up next.
Well, to some extent, it doesn't really matter what the next map is because they have to win all three no matter what. I mean, maybe there's some idea where, okay, we're going to have more momentum going into this map. We'll have a better showing on this map. But regardless, for WeUnited to move on to the next stage of the tournament in the upper bracket, they're going to need to win all three maps.
Yeah, so I updated our bracket. It's not updated just yet. No results have been reported in any other game. So we already know that Cloud9 is up 1-0. That's all that we've got in our bracket. We're going to Hollywood, and Cloud9's going to attack first.
So not too surprising there. C9 usually prefers being on the attack first. There are some teams that do actually prefer going on defense. It really varies. I think the first team I remember really noticing favoring defense or attack was Team Liquid, but I don't even know what's going on in Team Liquid right now. I've heard so many rumors about their roster and all the rest. I know that they were invited to play in this tournament, and then they couldn't for one reason or another, so I don't know. It does make you wonder. Same deal with NG Red, where NG Red, of course, I think the clear thing that happened there is that Bird left the roster and they just were not prepared to play with a fill-in.
Yeah, no, that's absolutely what happened to NG Red. I don't know. When you say it seems like Liquid had roster changes, I'm like, yeah, of course, because it's a day of the week. It seems like Liquid of any other team has flipped over their roster time and time again, and I think it's hurt them because they've looked decent with some of the rosters, and I'm like, okay, give them a couple more weeks, and then that roster falls apart, and they're not the same roster anymore. And they've always had good players, but they haven't had a consistent roster for 3 months now? I mean, when was the last time you could look at Liquid and know the 6 off the top of your head who are going to be on that team?
In Liquid's defense, I would say that the last roster that they've been running with here for things like Josh OG and all the rest of it, it's actually been the most static that it's been for a long time.
It has.
But, you know, they clearly have sort of reversed course here, and they're almost certainly there's going to be major roster changes for that team. There's no other reason as to why they wouldn't be playing here in the Melee or playing in some of the other tournaments that have been up as of late. And it's interesting because I actually thought Team Liquid was doing pretty darn well
they were.
As of late, too. I mean, they were clearly a top 4 NA team. They were challenging the very best teams in the game, with the exception of Envy, where no one was challenging Envy. But against C9, against NG Red, against LG, they had pretty good showing. So it's a little bit interesting that they might be going to blow it up now mode, but that is sort of Overwatch right now, where even IDQD back in the day, the team was undefeated and then broke up for a time. So. Well,
the thing about the Liquid roster that kind of was a question, especially with this new patch, was they were looking their strongest off of the strength of their combo, their Pharaoh Mercy combo, and IAD and Dahang were playing phenomenally well as the combo. It was pretty much a squad of 2 and a squad of 4 because they were always on Pharaoh Mercy, regardless of the map, regardless of the situation. That's all they played. So with this new patch, you can't really run a Pharaoh, at least not to the same effect that you could previously. So that's a big question that I have of what are those players going to do? Are they still on the Liquid roster? Things like that going kind of crazy. So definitely changes coming from Liquid, but no surprise. As you said, they had a more stable roster, but I mean, I don't know. Maybe I'm still holding on to biases from the past, but I remember Team Liquid changing their roster almost weekly for about a month straight. So.
All right, Zom says they are ready, so we're going to be getting right into it. Map number 3, Hollywood. Right now, Cloud9 with a 2-0 advantage over WeUnited, and WeUnited going to have to dig deep if they want to bring the series back.
Well, this is also the map that Cloud9 ran a Symmetra and a Junkrat on yesterday. It actually worked on this map, though. They got their teleporter up, they got reinforcements in, looked good. So,
it actually makes it a little bit sad that Cloud9 isn't on the defense first here, just because I wanted to see their defense once more, but we will get to see it after WeUnited does, after Cloud9 does their attack.
Yeah, I mean, it's going to be probably pretty standard coming out here from this WeUnited defense. They haven't really switched things up a lot as far as compositions go, from map to map, from side to side. Reaver and Adam are going to play with everyone's hearts for a little bit at the very least.
I would love to see the Ana here just because of the recent boost where, again, I have had no time to test it because our stream went live right as the patch went live.
Right.
But I do feel like her damage is actually just going to be nutty there. I mean, sure, it helps her heal quicker, but 20% quicker firing rate is a big difference between getting a kill or someone getting killed up.
And really, who better to see it on than Reaver? I feel like he could really excel at the Ana, to be honest.
Well, it doesn't look like that's going to happen, and let's take a look at things where we do know what's going to happen. On the defense, coming out here from WeUnited, it's going to be Zoms here on the Zarya, Forsaken on Reinhardt, Too Easy on McCree, Real's going to be on Lucio, Slasher on the Zenyatta, and Shadowburn going to be on the Reaper. Or is he? I think he's switching something up here.
He's going back. He's like, well, I'll just play Genji instead. Yeah.
Yep. It's like, well, you're guessing Genji, but it's a pretty good guess with Shadowburn.
Well, he did play Reaper earlier in ESL, so he does have some heroes that he can play, but he definitely prefers that Genji. So overall, offense coming out, though, it's going to be Kai on the Diva. Short4 and Reaver will represent the DPS in Genji and McCree, respectively. Debit will play Winston Adam on Zenyatta. Grego rounding things out on his Lucio.
And so we're going to take a look here at the offense as they pull in, see what angle they take. Of course, both teams right now trading out poke to begin things here. And C9, they're just going to go straight up the gut. No mercy here. Kai chasing down Shadowburn. Just really a fast, aggressive offense. Not really caring about things, but they get punished for it. Short4 immediately goes down to Too Easy. Kai going to be taken out of his mech, not before taking out Too Easy in turn. So 5v5 between the two teams. Oh my goodness, Kai getting way too much value right now in this Bunny Blaster. Gonna get his mech right back up.
That's crazy. Reaver also takes down Forsaken in that fight, so there goes the shield tank. There goes a couple more kills too. Shadowburn and Zoms down, who have brought maps back for them. Not gonna be the case here. First point defense goes down in first push yet again.
Yeah, not a big surprise here for Hollywood, although it was a little bit surprising in the sense that Kai got knocked out of the mech really early, and they lost Short4 very early, so you'd think that would have been in favor of the defense, but Cloud9, they didn't give up any other picks after that. Perhaps defense didn't really capitalize on it, and as a result, they lost point A.
Yeah, Adam took the elevator up, so he's going to be up on the roof as is Zenyatta. He's going to have the support of his tanks, but they back out, so he decides to back out as well. It's just going to kind of focus on the ground forces here as the defense was trying to bully into this first roof. They are going to set up there as well.
When you take a look here at the defense is just trading out poke on to the payload. The offense is going to have to move up here in a moment. Deadeye here does come out here from Too Easy. Doesn't get a whole lot. Both teams are going to break it down. Sound Barrier is out for both. And Shadowburn now has enough for a Dragon Blade. Too Easy on the Short4. And here comes Genji. He's not going to have to worry about another Genji. Looking for Reaver. Takes out Reaver. The two main DPSs for C9 are dead. And their push, in turn, is also dead.
Really cool there, kind of, though, because the Graviton comes off and grabs everyone in it, and they're transcending, so you're not really going to kill them in there, but all Forsaken did was use it as a battery for his ultimate, swung his hammer a couple times, waited for the Transcend to fade mostly, and then Earthshattered himself, which he got generally for free, because everyone was just sitting there, and they weren't going to die, but he charged up his ult.
Again, all the defense here on the roof, and C9 is going to challenge that rooftop tower. They throw up the Diva ult, does not get anything, but it forces everyone off the high ground. And Reaver right now able to capitalize on the ground floor, takes out Shadowburn. Short4 dives on the Too Easy, so Kai saying, I suck at that. Does not like throwing the Diva ult up onto the rooftop, but either way, Short4 gets more into the backline, takes out Slasher. Reaver gonna fall through the Deadeye, and C9, they chain the deaths they need to chain, and they have a clear path here to the second point.
Kai should take some lessons from B-Dropped. He's great at that. He's also great at disconnecting, unfortunately, so don't take lessons on that side either, but absolutely rolling through that second stage. They are on a blazing pace here. Zoms gets cleaned up in the back line. They're so far forward.
Oh my goodness. Yeah, Reaver is still chaining kills here. You would have thought they would have stopped the back up on the cart, but no. C9 still being very highly aggressive.
Too Easy.
What are you doing? Too Easy. That is a mental error by Too Easy. There is no reason for him to be that far out as the rest of his team was still in spawn.
Yeah, he was trying to punish Debit for being far forward, and then Debit just left his 2 DPS there to clean him up and punish him there. They are going to be able to maybe mount a good defense here. They finally have some ultimates up to work with, but they did nothing since that first fight in Streets phase.
Well, Too Easy pulls out the Deadeye here. Doesn't really have a whole lot of skulls to look for. Does a minor amount of damage to D.Va, I guess. Probably would better to hold it there as the offense now. They're rushing right in. Devitt leading the way. Gonna activate Primal Rage. Gets into it. Gets Graviton, in fact, by Zombs. And here comes Sheriff once more. Dragon Blade at the ready. Got to deal with the sound barrier, though. Slasher is dead. Not much else. Shadowburn. He's in the backline with his Dragon Blade of his own. Gets 3 kills. And for now, Shadowburn definitely getting a little bit more than Sheriff in that battle.
Yeah, they needed that. They needed that really, really badly to avoid putting up a 4-minute Hollywood defense. So now they're able to stall out, should be able to buy at least another 30 seconds to a minute. Shadowburn put the team on his back there. Fortunately, they are going to have just Transcendence up for him on this next fight, but they absolutely at least gave themselves a win condition now.
So C9 once again going to be moving forward the defense. Pretty much on the payload of 2 people in the back. Offensive sound barrier, though, going to be here on the way. They're looking for Forsaken. They take him out with the aid of the Discord Orb. Quick pick onto the shield tank. Shadowburn, though, turning the table on the Devitt.
Slasher goes down to that D.Va ult again.
D.Va, Zensiv had a real trouble dodging the D.Va ult. Defense, though, does pick up 2 in the back line. Zombs went really far deep, was very charged up. So Kai, despite the heroics with his ultimate, not going to get too much done here. Grego eats a headshot. He goes down. And WeUnited's going to hold, at least for now.
Yeah, well, the only thing Slasher could have done to live through that D.Va ult, just because just no mobility with Zen, would be pop his Transcendence. But that would have been a terrible use of Transcendence, a very greedy use. And now they're farming their ultimates back up. They're going to have Graviton up soon. They're going to have Sound Barrier, Transcendence. Shadowburn's going to go nuts here. They're going to try to initiate here. I'm not certain I love this. They've been doing fine holding back.
Yeah, I mean, they are going to hold back once more. C9, though, is certainly going to be a little bit more aggressive here. Graviton Surzo does come out from Zombs. 3 people get hooked in by that, but they get absolutely no follow-up to start out. Shadowburn was looking to go in. He got taken out by Reaver immediately, so no Shadowburn, or no Dragon Blade follow-up. Graviton Surge. C9 with a huge numbers advantage right now. They're going to push it. They're moving forward. And Reaver, nothing stopping him from getting all the poke in the world here on McCree. Shadowburn, though, does come in off the resurrection. As an he respawned, moves back in. Not able to get anything. Transcendence just ruining his day. Finally gets Reaver towards the very end, but will get taken out by Kai.
It kind of shows you how quickly that Shadowburn was shut down as they tried to combo that last time with the Graviton, is that he had full ult ready, unable to even unsheath the sword during that Graviton combo. So quickly Reaver took him out, and now it's all over but the Cryon. They're going to try to stall out for a little bit.
That's always the saddest thing on stall, where your best frontline staller, the only person that's left is a Zenyatta. It's just, no, I can't do this.
Well, they did hold off long enough to give themselves a chance to actually win this map, because for a while it was on pace for about 3.5 or 4 minutes. The final time that they have to beat is 6 minutes and 11 seconds. Doable. Not easy, but doable.
Alrighty, well, the upside here, though, is that we will get to see the C9 defense coming out here, where, again, they looked really strong on their defense yesterday on Point A Hollywood, so we'll see if C9 has more of the code broken here, and it did seem like part of their method in their madness, success-wise, is that teams that have done well on early point defenses here, they're a little bit more aggressive. They don't stay on the standard defense areas and wait for the offense to push in, because an offense with initiative seems just way too good at actually dislodging people from the high ground, from the cafe, parts where defenses were usually really good at here, but defense that's a little bit more aggressive takes a fight to the offense. It seems like they have a better shot of actually holding.
There's that possibility, and then also I think just cafe defense is over with now. You just can't run it anymore, so you're right that aggressive defenses have also done well. Also, super passive defenses have done okay too.
Yes.
Just holding very far back, kind of back at the dumpster and crates area here. It allows you to watch right-hand side, allows you to get kind of on cover, so you're not just sitting out there in the open. Yes, cafe's high ground, but it's been absolutely negated by the rise of divas and jump-in compositions, things like that. So one of the two. They are going to run this Symmetra as well. I'm super excited. I get to call it out. Kai on Symmetra, Shore4 on McCree. Reaver will play the Junkrat Devitt on Reinhardt's. Grego will play Lucio. Adam on Zenyatta. So I'm a huge fan of Symmetra. I think she is vastly underrated, but if you lose in this first push, as had happened to a lot of teams on Hollywood defense, then you're getting nothing out of her. Kai plays a nice Symmetra. He's been getting kills on it and getting teleporters up.
Best way of putting it is it's a bit of a gamble. Looking at the offense though, coming out here from WeUnited, it's going to be Shadowburn on the Genji once more, Too Easy on the McCree in the back, Slasher on Zenyatta, Zombs on the Zarya, Forsaken on the D.Va, and Real's going to be on the Lucio. So take a look here for Forsaken. I gotta imagine he's gonna be moving in pretty aggressively in a moment. Uses Diva's mobility to get right to the top. And again, you take a look here at WeUnited's run. Let's have a few people in the alley, a few people on the high ground. They're going to dive right in, right away. Too easy, able to win that McCree versus McCree battle. Zom's onto Reaver, so two big DPS players for C9 already down. There's not going to be any easy way for them to get back in the fights. Teleporter's nowhere close to being done. So this should be WeUnited's point here, Hex, and barring some sort of epic collapse.
Yeah, Adam comes in late, tries to stall out the best he can. Way too late.
Hex.
That's it.
Look at Surefour. I say look at Surefour now. I thought Surefour was going for something absolutely crazy, but that was not the case at all. I'm going to stay back for right now. Too easy trying to get up here to the rooftop. Deciding against it right now. I think he realized that if he walked up, he'd be walking into a hornet's nest.
What's been strange about Hollywood is that it used to be a battle over the rooftops. Every fight on Hollywood over like the last 5 days has taken place right here, right where Kai's coming in. They jump off the roof onto the ground. Every brawl has taken place right around this first bend.
Yep, Sunbear does come in from the offense, and they'll push C9 back here. Kai goes down the Zombs. Too easy, finds and picks off Adam. It's not fully won here for the offense, but it's definitely looking good. C9 is fully pushed back. Devitt almost goes down in the process.
Oh,
and Surefour was looking for some pickoffs, but finds Too Easy. The elevator brings him up. Grego going to go down. A big double kill for Too Easy. Sets up WeUnited, and time-wise, they can absolutely do this, Hex.
You just don't expect the McCree on the flanking elevator. You're just worried about, like, they're mobile heroes, the ones that are going to jump you. Like, oh, I see Shadowburn, there's Forsaken. I'm totally safe up here to do all the damage I want. Does not expect the McCree on the right side elevator. Totally takes him out there.
So Forsaken not getting too much of that diva at all. I think he was hoping people were coming through the doorway. Surefour on the defense does come out, flanks Too Easy, takes him out. Here comes Dragon Blade from Shadowburn, looking to put the offense on his back. Getting stymied a bit though by that defensive transcendence. Finally goes down, takes out Adam, takes out Reaver in turn, gets the 3K. Everything working out there for Shadowburn. Kai not getting a whole lot off of his ultimate. He get knocked out of his mech, and United going to get this point, and they still have time here.
Much like King's Row, this second point is super important to take, because if you get stalled out here and you have to walk all the way to the fight again, it costs you darn near a whole minute. So getting it there and getting the spawns move forward is super important. They get it there, a little over 3 minutes left, a little shy of 3.5.
It's not too bad at all coming out here from WeUnited. They've given themselves the opportunity to win here, much like they did on King's Row.
Yeah, so they're going to have the ultimates to work with up here. They're going to have Soundbarrier, they're going to have Graviton. That's going to be nice for them. They actually have a pretty big ultimate advantage right now. Reaver and Short, we're going to have to get some stuff done on their DPS ults. They're going to take the fight to them.
Yeah, they do take it to them. They offense did not use Sound Barrier there like I thought they were going to. Reels held it, and C9 as a result, they're going to be able to take this fight. They got the first early picks they need to get. Reaver still holding on to the Death Boss and might not even need to use it here. T9, they're being pretty aggro. They do need to be careful here, though. Respawns are going to be up here for the offensive moment. Here comes Graviton Surge, pulls in 3 people. Shadowbird with the fall through, takes out 4 on the Dragon Blade, makes it a 5K. Will he have the 6K? He does. That was a full team kill by Shadowbird, aided by Zombs, and out of nowhere. Is this deja vu here, Hex? Is C9 going to be able to get a chance to come out? Reaver has Death Blossom just like King's Row.
They're going to come out.
Oh my goodness.
Could be
Is this happening? Soundbarrier comes out here from the offensive. No. Too Easy takes out Reaver.
Okay, so there we go. He waits for the Sound Barrier to fade. Transcendence is going to come out, keep everyone nice and safe. Barring another collapse, this should easily be, well, that's Earth Shattered, but this is WeUnited's map.
Alrighty, so WeUnited staying alive. They take Hollywood from Cloud9. And really, you look at the series here thus far, this could very easily have gone the other way, where WeUnited could be up 2-1 right now if they just played a little bit better towards the very end of King's Row.
Lijiang was super close on the stage that they ended up losing out on. We thought they were going to actually have that one. It was so close towards the end. Nice pulse bombs came in, and then Reaver just went off crazy. So that's what won them Lijiang for Cloud9. King's Row should have been WeUnited's map. In all regards, it should have been WeUnited easily. And they looked really good on Hollywood. Had to clutch out that second stage fight, which they absolutely needed. Did not throw towards the end there. Stagger their ultimates in a great way. Soundbarrier came up, kept them safe. Transcendence came up, kept them safe. So really nice showing from WeUnited overall here. I mean, this is Cloud9. They're still top 3, undisputed top 3 in North America. And it's been a really, really good showing from, I mean, at what point do we stop calling them an upstart, but this WeUnited team? And it's, I mean, that Shadowburn 6K, though.
Yeah, the 6K from Shadowburn, even being aided by a Graviton, that is rare. Any sort of full 6-kill in competitive Overwatch, it does not happen very often. It does not happen every tournament. It doesn't even happen every month. It's a once every 2-month type thing to actually catch on stream. It's, I mean, actually think about it, it might even be rarer than that. You just don't see it very often.
I mean, I mentioned him yesterday, but Zams on Zarya has been playing really, really well, and he needed some redemption there after some questionable ultimate usage on King's Row, especially. And you know, you're not going to see a 6K from a Genji generally without some help from Zarya, and he's been great on just throwing out the allied shields, keeping people alive. I've been super impressed with his Zarya play, but I definitely have a crush on Zarya. Always have.
By the way, huge apologies to the chat. There's just no way of getting play of the game set up there unless we want everyone to wait in there for another 2 minutes for overtime to finish up. Just one of the downsides of comp mode right now. That will get fixed. Blizzard knows about some of the concerns and all the rest, but for now, it does sort of hurt that you don't always get to see play the match in some of these games.
Yeah, I'm sure Shadowburn will upload his highlight. He's got to, right? It's got to, that must be a highlight in his client.
Yeah, actually, that's a good idea. If he doesn't know about that, right, he should actually go into the client before too much time passes and just record that, because there's no way that wasn't his highlight for the game. And what a highlight it was.
It looks like we're headed to Nepal. Both teams are ready. We haven't seen Nepal in quite a bit here. Now, this is another map that it's going to be interesting to see if they want to run Tracers or McCree's. Maybe some Ana. It's a long map. There's some sight lines here, especially that one stage.
Alrighty, so we are ready. Cloud9 is what. Man, now I'm doing it where my R's are becoming W's. Thank you, WeUnited. They're actually dangerous to proper enunciation of the English language. It's like, we're ready. It's like, no, we are ready. With an R. Okay, WeUnited. Someone please sponsor WeUnited. I can't take much more of this.
Yeah, please.
All right, either way, taking a look here at Cloud9 as they set up. Does look like they are going to be running Debit here on the Winston, Adam on the Zenyatta, Share4 on Genji, Kai on Zarya, Grego on the Lucio, and Reaver going to be on the McCree.
Okay, so no Tracer out of Reaver so far. We'll see what Too Easy wants to play. He's actually taking a moment before he decides here, definitely putting some thought into it. But he does come up on a Cowboy of his own. Jesse McCree will be played by Too Easy. Shadowburn, of course he's on Genji. Slasher will play the Zenyatta. Forsaken on a Winston. Zams on Zarya. And Reels will play Lucio. Just because it gets mentioned to me every time that we cast WeUnited. I believe Reels is a former Smite player. For all the Smite fans out there, we do know that that is Reels from Smite. So I've been told.
Alrighty, well, everyone charging forward here on to the middle of Nepal. We see C9 taking the top level. Top level being taken by WeUnited, and Shadowburn gets a very first pick off here onto Reaver, moves that backline, makes it a double kill, and oh my goodness, Shadowburn once more exploding. He goes down the Share4, but not before the damage is done. It's now Share4 with no one. Reaver died early in the fight, is now just getting back into it, but very decisive fight coming out here from WeUnited.
Yeah, 6-1. The first 2 kills, just absolutely phenomenal. That first fight is going to give them first point here. It's going to be interesting to see where they hold. Some teams prefer this high ground. Some teams will actually hold just on the point. They're going to try to hold the high ground and just get some poking.
Shadowburn right now does have Dragon Blade at the ready, looking for an opportunity. Will be able to take out Reaver. Reaver is looking for the pickoff, does not get it. 5v5 right now between both teams. Both teams down to DPS as Too Easy went down. And oh man, Share4 comes right back, takes out Shadowburn. And just like that, C9 should be able to get control at this point.
Yeah, Shore4 looking good, but Kai on his Zarya has been phenomenal. It just ghostbustering people down there. It ends up cleaning up the rest of that fight. He's going to have his Graviton up for the next fight. The next fight is going to be absolutely insane. Pretty much everyone's going to have their ultimate up. It's going to be a battle of the Qs here. Too Easy is the lone one who's pretty far away from his ult, and that's because he switched onto a Reaper.
Yeah, Too Easy switching the Reaper means you won't be seeing it for a while, but you take a look here at C9, they have good high ground positioning, they do have Graviton at the ready. So I'd probably say it's more likely for C9, they do get 2 people in the backline, both supports are in that Graviton, they're not able to get the follow through that they need though. Sound Barrier saves the offense of WeUnited. Cheer4, though, still takes out Shadowburn. They're down to DPS. And Zoms, do you have a good Graviton in store, or are you going to save it? Cheer4 already has 3 kills here, so you definitely want to save it.
Yeah.
Upside there for WeUnited, at the very least, is that Graviton has been used, and they still have a decent amount of ults for their own, including the Death Blossom Graviton combo.
It's been actually pretty impressive from WeUnited that their resource management. Now they obviously didn't use them because it was already too late in that fight, but they generally don't end up stacking ults on top of each other, using them unnecessarily. They're able to kind of time things out pretty well.
Alright, so Cheer4 gets in the backline, takes out Slasher to start out this fight. It's already a 5v6 in favor of C9. Cheer4 gets a double kill, and Death Blossom's up from too easy, but it's way too low to like. It's absolutely nothing from that ultimate. And Cheer4 has really been coming alive here for C9 in the last 2 fights.
Yeah, he's looked great, and just as I praised their resource management, we get a pretty terrible ult from Too Easy, but that might have been because he wanted to switch. He does come up onto the McCree instead, so busting that Q out, not the worst thing if you're going to switch heroes. I think it's going to come down to Zoms. Zoms going to have to hit a really nice Graviton. You want at least 3 in it. And Forsaken might be the one to follow it up, too, because he's going to be able to get on the high ground, because I think that's where the Graviton's going to go. They're going to force him low ground.
Graviton does come out here against Reaver and Kaikai, so Reaver will go down immediately. C9 going to be down DPS. Cheer4, though, got into the backline, took out Reaver's counterpart. Dragonblade now on the way. And Cheer4 once more looking to win this for C9, gets in the backline, looking for Zarya. Zoms will fall at the very end. And C9 maintaining firm control here. They did lose for a split second, but they won the fight. As they retake control, and now for WeUnited, I'm not even sure if they're going to be able to force overtime here.
No, they're not going
4% remaining. This is going to be very rough.
It's just, well, I mean, Short4 is going to come in, or Shadowburn rather, is going to come in over the top. Slasher down yet again really early in this fight. They've had a hard time protecting their back line.
Cheer4 has been isolating Slasher for pretty much this entire game right now, and I'm not even sure that's really Slasher's fault, just so much that he needs protection from the backline. They were running McCree historically to protect him from that. Too Easy was not on it for most of the game, so maybe there's just another reason for Too Easy to stay on McCree as opposed to freelancing on the other things, is that it's more protection for Slasher in the backline.
Yeah, I definitely agree. He might have even switched to the Reaper because there was a couple times where Slasher died to the Winston. So I think it is in the front of their minds that we need to protect Slasher in the backline, because pretty much every fight on that stage, Slasher was the first one down, and that was definitely by design from Cloud9.
Alrighty, well, we are going into the Sanctum stage here. Take a look here at WeUnited. No real major changes coming out, aside from the fact that Too Easy will be on McCree to start out the fight. He was on McCree towards the end of the last stage, but for most of it, he was on Reaper and really did not get a whole lot done.
A quiet game from Too Easy, certainly. And they're also going to have to find an answer for Short4. Easier said than done, but his Genji work on this stage, and also just on King of the Hill in general, has been really the engine that's driving Cloud9 right now.
Oh no, Debit almost falls off the edge, has to jump pack himself to safety. Both teams right now just exchanging poke, normal stuff for the stage of Sanctum, but now C9 being more aggressive, but they pay for it. Shadowburn able to punish it, charges right into the backline, takes out 2. Too Easy with the fall through, and this is going to be first point to WeUnited.
Yeah, good play on both DPSs. Both pick up a couple kills. Should be an easy one there. I don't know. I think it's very strange with WeUnited. I haven't seen them enough on Nepal overall to say that they're just better at this stage or that stage, but it definitely seems to be that they have got stages that they prefer. And it seems like the more open a stage is, the happier they are to be on it. And I think a lot of that's because it gives Shadowburn a playground.
Alright, well, C9, they do get into the point. Kaikai leads away, kind of off on an island, though. Gonna get taken out as a result. He was way too far up relative to the rest of his team. Shadowburn gets the backline, takes out Adam, looking now for Debit, gets Grego in his sights. Grego gonna boop him away. He will survive, but still, significant damage being done here by WeUnited. They should be able to push out Winston here in a second, and for now, they'll keep control.
Debit got taken out so quickly. He just popped Primal Rage, got flashbanged, and then he deleted.
A little bit of Lucio and Lucio violence there. Reels treating Grego to the pit.
Yeah, he's not going to be able to be resurrected now.
Mercy.
Mercy.
Mercy used to be a hero, even on King of the Hill. Still see her from time to time now, but much less with this patch. Alright, Graviton Surge coming out. Here comes Cheer4 looking for the follow-up on that Graviton. Gonna get booped away. Not getting what he wants immediately, but Reaver with the Deadeye does get what he's looking for. Gets the double kill. WeUnited now down 3, down 4 as Real's gonna get shot in the head.
I mean, the Transcendence was nice.
First cap here of this round.
Transcendence was nice to keep them mostly alive, but Deadeye does not care about your Transcendence at all, able to clean that up. And then once that wore off, everyone else is still around, hanging out there. Not enough force to really fight that back. They're holding them at
Alrighty, Soundbear comes out here from C9. They're looking to maintain their advantage. They're very aggressive with this. Now Shadowburn is 2 easier down. They can go up as far as they want. They have a window here, the chain, an extra death or two. But the offense of WeUnited really realizing they have to back out in a hurry.
They push them all the way back to Shuttle. It's an interesting spot where they want to hold here. They're putting Debit in generally where you'd put your Reaper rather, hanging behind the door.
Blade coming out here from Shadowburn. Gonna be running into C9's Transcendence, so not gonna be able to get a whole lot as a result. Meanwhile, Surefour back in the other part of the fight, takes out Zoms. Reaver with the follow through. That's gonna be a triple kill for Surefour to finish things out, and good hold from C9, and we are officially going to be tied here in round number 2, 60-60.
Yeah, I mean, the problem is Zoms just had to use his Graviton. They had to bust out some ults pretty early here. They're not getting enough damage in these fights either to really recharge their ults. They're still at the ult disadvantage across the board for the most part.
They're going to be running right into Surefour's Dragon Blade to start this out. He takes out 2 easy immediately on a double kill. Looking for more. Debit has his fall through. And Debit and Surefour, being the Bash Brothers, they're just taking out everyone on the WeUnited squad. Find Shadowburn in the end for good measure. I mean, and now for WeUnited, this is the danger zone. They have no ults really aside from Deadeye. And they still have to get on the point here, or they won't be able to force overtime, and they'll be down 2 rounds to 0.
The problem isn't really even necessarily that they're losing fights. It's how badly they're losing fights. If you lose a fight and it's kind of even, you're able to scrape by, get some ults, and get a better chance here, but it's been so
well, the Graviton comes out from Kai, sets up WeUnited. Everyone on C9 knocking them down. Reaver and Surefour getting in there. And as a result, Cloud9 now 1 round away from winning this upper bracket semifinal and moving on to potentially face Envious.
I believe if what I just saw from one of our moderators is true, that it is Envious moving on. Fnatic did, however, take a map. So that's interesting in its own right.
Yeah, so, I mean, we knew Fnatic was going to come in pretty strong. I'm not surprised at all that they took a map, especially given the said scrim result-wise. I guess it is interesting in the sense that Envy has been so hard to really beat in general, so it's still an accomplishment, and might be seeing more from Fnatic soon later on the day as we get to lower brackets, round number 3 and 4.
Yeah, still stages to play out here, though. No real big changes coming from either side at all. It looks like a complete mirror match, and it is.
Teams feel like they have everything figured out here in King of the Hill. I actually think there is a place for Ana now with her changes, but you're just not going to see that mid-tournament unless teams really want to be risky.
Not 5 minutes before the tournament starts when the patch is released.
McCree is still doing well for both sides, so I think any adverse reactions to the McCree changes will be very premature. Either way, though, Reaver goes in, takes out Zoms to start this out. First pick for a McCree. Forsaken firing back, though, takes out Surefour, so both teams down a player. A little bit more offensive power, though, here, though, for WeUnited. Shadowburn, though, goes down the Kai, and that should be it. C9 will be able to take first control of this round 3 point.
Yeah, he's just, I mean, just overall on McCree, and I'm looking at Reaver right now playing it, is he seems more balanced, not generally in his power level compared to other heroes, maybe, but at least they're using Fan the Hammer. His kit now, everything has its own place.
Fan the Hammer is back. I have mixed feelings on that. I've just never liked Fan the Hammer thematically as a skill, but in the sense that if you want to be useful, it's definitely a lot more useful now with the changes. That much is already obvious.
Fair enough. I've never liked Flashbang, because I don't like losing control of my character.
All right, well, Soundbear coming out here from C9, again, just trying to solidify their hold on the point. Offense pretty much everywhere now. They are charging the back line, but it's not working at all. Zom's the only one able to get a kill. Everyone else in the WeUnited squad paying the price. And that's the problem. When you charge that deep in the back line, if you don't immediately get 2 or 3 kills, it won't work out. And Reaver, very content to sit in the back and just pick people apart.
Yeah, I want to give Debit some props, too. I mean, it's been especially evident on King of the Hill. Now, we talk so much about Surefour getting kills and Reaver getting kills. Debit is actually showing up a lot in this kill feed for Cloud9 as well. His Winston play has always been phenomenal. It's at its best when he has another Winston to work with, but his solo Winston's been fine.
All right, well, here comes Shadowburn leading the way with the Dragon Blade. Gets stymied a little bit by the Transcendence, and Surefour now countered Blade on the way, gets 2 kills, makes it a 3K. Surefour now on a rampage, and 2 easy just spamming teabag there. He knows he's dead.
Yeah, let's kick it.
Well,
All
about
right.
2.5 fights to be able to stay in the upper bracket for WeUnited. The time is now to start busting these things out. Zoms has his Graviton ready. It's Primal Rage also ready. Too easy with his Deadeye. They're going to have to hit some combination of these to try to win this next fight. It's do or die time.
And well, either way, we will definitely have Gravitons on the menu. Both teams setting up the fight once more. The offense coming in off the high ground, but they get caught by the Graviton. 3 people are stuck in it. Kai gets a little bit fall through from Reaver. It's going to be 2 kills in the beginning. Make it 3. Reaver on a rampage, takes out 3. And Reaver, he's had a much better day here today, I think, than he had yesterday.
Spanning the hammer.
And just like that, that was our last team fight here. WeUnited, they're still alive in the tournament, but they are going to fight now through the lower bracket. C9 will move forward to face who else but Envy.
I mean, this is a battle of the Titans. Envy still just a class above everyone else right now, but Cloud9's been playing as good as I've seen them play in a couple months or so. I think the patch was going to be friendly to them. It appears that it has been. Reaver's found his home back on McCree. And now that Genji is super popular back in the meta again, I think Short4 has found his home back on his very familiar Genji play.
Alrighty, well, we are going to take a short break here. This is the Alienware monthly mailing. I'm ZP, that's Hex. I'm going to fix my green screen on the break, which fell over mysteriously at the beginning of the set. But we'll be back here. C9 versus Envious on the way. Thank you guys so much for staying in here, and we'll be back.